Hey Moosh Movie Club, Riley here, and I just finished watching Cherry. I really liked this movie. I will explain later on to you why I liked this movie, but we shall get right into the plot summarization first. Yes, good. Yes, good. Good, good. Cherry is about a 17-year-old freshman in college boy whose name is Aaron, and he is kind of going off to college. His parents are kind of being protective and controlling, but they realize that they kind of let him do his own thing. They gotta let him loose, but his mother doesn't realize that until later on in the movie, while his dad realizes that right then and there, and he's like, okay, we gotta give him some space, we gotta let him do his own thing. His mom doesn't like that. She picked every single one of his classes. So yeah, that's a little controlling. Aaron kind of shows up at this art class because he thought it was his engineer class, but then he kind of joins in on the art class and he realizes that he likes it a lot more. And you see in the beginning, you see his art potential, you see his talent in it. And you realize that, wow, he's a very good drawer. He's very good at art. Quite good, in fact. And he falls for this 30-year-old freshman woman named Linda, who is in his art class that he is secretly taking because his parents don't know about it. He has this roommate, Wild Bill, who hooks up in their room constantly. And I mean constantly, like scene after scene after scene. You see the handkerchief on the doorknob, and it's like, ew, gross. He's hooking up in there. It's not gross that he's hooking up in there. It's gross how many times that he does it. That's kind of disturbing. And so he calls Linda up, and she says, okay, it's alright, just come over to my house. I'm gonna come pick you up. You can just come on over, I'll make you some lasagna for dinner, and you can spend the night at my house. And he's thinking, I'm getting lucky, but he ends up meeting her 14-year-old daughter, Beth, who has like a piercing here and like a piercing here. She's got blonde hair with like these black streaks in it. And she doesn't look 14. Like, you realize that none of the characters in the movie look the age that they're playing. They all look either younger or a lot older than their character's age. Beth develops this crush on Aaron, and you're like, okay, that's kind of understandable. Aaron's a nice guy. It's understandable. Aaron, he's a little weirded out by that because he likes Linda. Well, Beth likes him, so you see this kind of weird love triangle forming. That's a triangle. I don't know what I did earlier, but you see this weird love triangle forming between them. And you see, later on in the movie, you see him drifting more towards Beth than Linda. She got in a fight with her mother's boyfriend, or really ex-boyfriend now, Wes, because he wanted to get engaged. And she's like, you're not my dad, stop telling me what to do. And then she gets in this fight with him, and she like threatens to stick him with her nose ring or something. Or it's an earring, I don't know. And yes, they get in this fight, and then long story short, Wes ends up hitting Linda, but it was an accident. She still told him to get out, threw the ring at him. And then when they left the house to take Aaron back to his dorm, Wes followed them in his cop car, and he put the siren on and said, Linda, I need to talk to you. And she kind of floored it and took off down the road. And then they saw a dog, and then they like veered off to avoid it. And then Linda was in the driver's seat. She ended up like breaking her neck and her arms or something. She starts like popping pain pills like they're candy in her mouth. He kind of like sleeps there now because his roommate's always hooking up in their room, so it's kind of gross to be there. He's on the couch and he hears her crying, so he goes up to her room in the attic. She has a pretty awesome room, by the way. Awesome. And yes, he goes up and he comforts her, and she starts kissing him, and he kisses her back. And then he realizes, okay, no, this can't lead to anything more than just a couple of kisses, because she's 14 and it's wrong and it's not okay. And then she says, okay, well, can you just spend the night here with me? So he just like sleeps in the bed next to her and comforts her throughout the entire night. It's actually very sweet. Parents come back to town. His mother is very kind of controlling, obsessed, and oh my god, why aren't you calling me back, and why are you taking an art class? And then they go over to Linda's house and they meet her, and then his mother realizes, okay, yep, kind of the person I didn't want him to be around. And she tries to control him, but then he chooses Linda over her, but Linda kisses him, and he kisses her back, and then Beth is really upset about it. He walks into Linda's room in the middle of the night, and he sees that she's kind of upset, so he sleeps with her, but not like that kind of way. Actually, yes, that does happen later on in the scene, because he like wakes up and he has wood. Yeah, fun, right? And then she kind of like jumps the gun, and you know where I'm going with that. And he realizes, oh my god, this was a gigantic mistake. And then he asks, have you ever actually made love instead of just having sex? And she says, isn't. And then she's like really drunk and popped up on these pain pills, so it's just like, it gets weird. And Beth kind of heard the entire thing, poor Beth, and she runs away, and she's with this guy, Ray, who tries to have sex with her, but then Aaron comes and stops it just in the nick of time. And then Beth gives him this idea for his physics project, not his physics project, his engineer project that he has to make, because he has to like lift his weight up really. He has to like get rid of like 100-something pounds of his weight, because the diet wouldn't really work in like that short of time, because it was due the next morning. So yeah, bunch of helium balloons. He ends up acing the engineer project because he walks on water. He realizes that he really likes Beth, but then Linda and Beth move away. Beth makes this promise that she will come back to him when she's 18 and he's 21. And he'll probably be living in New York City at the time, being a famous artist and stuff like that. And she says that he'll realize that there was something missing from his life, and she'll be that missing piece, and they will get a happy ending. But you don't quite see that in this movie. You're like, oh, why'd they leave? Because Aaron's really likes her. I mean, it's developed to the point of love with Beth at the end of this movie. Really liked it, loved it, in fact. I loved Beth's character. I loved how rebellious she was and how kind of funny she was and everything. I would give it maybe like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, because it wasn't perfect. There were definitely some flaws in it. But yeah, I really liked it. So, very funny. Wasn't overdone on the whole sex humor type thing. It was quite good. Goodbye, Moosh Movie Club. I will see you for the next movie, which is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I'm sorry for talking like that. So, Moosh!